spiritual side of death and dying.
All the things we regret. The moment was standing there at the bedside, and Bruce had already kind of gone into a coma. And I just realized that I hadn't even told him how much he had meant to me. And I had never talked to him. I mean, I had medically talked to him about dying tons of times. Physically, this is what may happen, you know, all these ways, all these opportunistic infections, all these ways that you may go. And, you know, talked about the DNR and all those things, living will, and getting all that paperwork established, done, taken care of. And all those things I had done, like a good physician's supposed to do. And what I didn't really know was, what did this dying thing mean to him? He was already gone before I could say goodbye. But I had taken care of him well. I mean, and we had had, you know, wonderful times together, both as doctor and patient and as friends. The regret that there was, the bigger regret is that there was this whole area of dying and what it means that hadn't been, you know, explored or plumbed. What a lost opportunity.
Reverend Larry Harris almost missed the opportunity to spend the final months with his son, Larry Jr., who worried about his family being stigmatized by his illness. He had planned, after his death, to have his body shipped home from Los Angeles, where he worked as a social worker for AIDS Project L.A.
I don't know of a time ever that my heart was broken to the point that it was broken over what he had to go through with AIDS, and to see him, to look at him and see and know that all I could do was try to keep him comfortable and love him and meet the needs that he had. And you know, when they're little, and they fall down and they skin their knees or they break an arm, and you doctor them and you make it all better. But you're looking at this and you can't make it all better. You know, you can't fix it. And that breaks your heart. That breaks your heart.
For the next year, with steadfast devotion, Reverend Harris became his son's nurse and protector. He was able to spare his son from cruel incidents, but not himself.
I did have one in the hospital that I've known for a long time, and I've always shook hands with and spoke to. And after they had access to my son's records and saw that he had HIV, in fact that he had full-blown AIDS, I went to meet them in the hall, and I stuck out my hand, and they stuck out, and then they thought, and they drew their hand back. And they were embarrassed. I really wasn't hurt to the point that, you know, I felt sorry for them.
Reverend Harris never asked how his son got AIDS because he wasn't sure he wanted to know, and because he said it wouldn't have changed a thing. Through Larry Jr.'s dying, the two men found an intimacy that had eluded them in life.
I'm sitting there beside of this bed where my chair stayed, and I sit where I could put my hand on his arm. Even at night, I'd have my hand on his arm. If I didn't, he wouldn't know where Daddy was. And I stood up beside him. It was 1:45. And I stood up, and I've taken his hand in mine, and I reached over and I kissed him on his forehead. He was struggling so hard to breathe. And I said, "Son, I know you're tired, and you need to rest." And I said, "Jesus can give you that rest, and it's all right if you go." And he opened both eyes and looked at me. And I said, "It's all right if you go." There was no fear in his eyes. There was no fear on his face. There was total peace. As he closed his eyes, it was like a sweet peace just overshadowed the two of us. And I shared with him the 23rd Psalm and John 14, 1 through 3. And when I finished that, I felt the last pulse. And I looked at the clock, and it was 2 o'clock. And all I could say was, thank you, Jesus. And I went back, and I told Janice, I said, honey, the struggle's over.
At his son's memorial service, Reverend Harris said something not usually heard from a Bible-Belt pulpit. He spoke openly and emotionally about AIDS.
That memorial service was such an incredible blessing. I have been to more than I care to count funerals. During those funerals, the word AIDS was mentioned once. To have Reverend Harris get up and talk about AIDS and talk about his son and his son's death was just an incredible blessing.
I felt like that I would be able to say things that probably nobody else could say. And I felt like that maybe by my being open with the people and sharing my heart with them concerning this, that it would help others who were struggling and who was ashamed to say my son has AIDS, and who, you know, you got parents. What breaks my heart is you got parents that won't even take their children back home. They don't want to have anything to do with their children. You got people trying to put a home where these people have no place to go, and you got people trying to put a home where they can bring them into this home and try to take care of them, and you got people in the community signing petitions because they don't want this kind of people in their community. Hey, these are somebody's sons. These are somebody's daughters. You know, these are somebody's children, and some of them are somebody's parents. You know, even, and they're not second-class citizens. Well, we miss him. We miss him tremendous. I walk through these houses and where I usually see him and the things we do, and we go places. But you see, he's not just a precious memory, but he's a living presence. And that's what we can hold to.
When it comes to tough hand tools, we're making a name for ourselves because they're made with a full lifetime warranty. That's Ace, the name to know for hand tools.
It is where the lofty atmosphere of most luxury cars is left behind. It is the American-built flagship of Toyota, Avalon. Combining refined performance, comfort, and Toyota's unparalleled reputation for quality, Avalon delivers the greatest luxury of all, peace of mind. Avalon, experience the tranquility.
You can eat all you want, but you still need more.
You love Chi-Chi's restaurant, you'll love Chi-Chi's restaurant-style salsa. So when you can't get to the restaurant, get to the store.
Chi-Chi's salsa, can't get enough.
Number 2 UMass takes on Louisville, or out west, UCLA meets Pac-10 rival Oregon. There's regional action on Payne Weber College basketball Saturday on ABC Sports.
Better skin day after day. Clearer, brighter, smoother skin with Estee Lauder's Fruition. Better skin year after year. Skin that stays younger looking, less lined with Estee Lauder's Advanced Night Repair. Wonderful skin, now and forever.
Now a lucidity sample in your shade, plus 7 beauty essentials, free with any $17.50 Estee Lauder purchase. Yours through March 16th at Dillard's.
If we only gave you a bed liner, you may not consider it a big deal until you consider it comes with a new GMC pickup, your choice of Sonoma or Sierra, regular or extended cab, all with the strength and durability that's only GMC truck. So when you think about all the things you can do in your truck and all the places you can go, that bed liner we gave you not only becomes a big deal, but a big value. So hurry. See your 5-star GMC truck dealer today.
In
AIDS led Claire Hicks to the threshold of death, where she soon bottomed out and went through a brief depression. Medical school taught her to distance herself from her patients. That failed.